All right, everybody, let's take a look at part 2 of the indeterminate limit case. All right, so today we're going to look at, again, a new case of it. You remember when you have an indeterminate limit, when you have 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity, one of the things you can do to figure out the answer is to factor. And that's one of the things we did yesterday. In the previous video, in part 1, we factored. Well, today we're going to use a technique called the conjugate. Okay, the conjugate, because there's a radical involved. And if you'll take a look here, when we plug in, if we plug in 1, we get the square root of 1 minus 1 over 1 minus 1. So we're still 0 over 0. Okay, so this is, again, the indeterminate form. Now, to solve problems that have a radical, factoring is really not an option for us, at least at the moment. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to simplify this fraction so there's no longer that 0 in the denominator, and that's really what we're trying to do. So what I'm going to do is use the conjugate of this piece. Remember, a conjugate, when you have a plus b, it has a conjugate of a minus b, okay? And vice versa. When I have a minus b, I have a conjugate of a plus b. And when we multiply that together, we get our difference of perfect squares, the a squared minus b squared form. So essentially, that's what we're doing here, is we're building this form. I've got a minus b in the numerator, so I want to multiply it by a plus b. In other words, the square root of x plus 1. And since this is a fraction, of course, if I multiply the top by a value, I have to multiply the bottom by a value, so I don't change the overall value of the fraction. Okay? So we multiply both the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the numerator here, and the reason we're doing that is because of the radical piece. All right? So now what I do is I multiply. Well, the numerator is difference of perfect squares. So when I multiply that numerator, I do this guy times this guy, which is just x. Square root of x times square root of x is x. And then negative 1 times 1, which is minus 1. Over x minus 1 times, now this denominator, I'm not going to multiply together. There's no need to do so, so I wouldn't worry about it. If you do, it actually makes this a little bit harder to deal with. Okay. So now notice what I've done. Now that I've multiplied the top together by doing square root of x times square root of x to get the x, and the negative 1 times the negative times positive 1 to get this, I have x minus 1 in the numerator. Now remember, that technique only works if we're here in the difference of perfect squares. Don't try that technique with something else that is not of the conjugate forms. Okay, so notice here, we can divide those out. But remember, when you divide those out, there is a 1 in the numerator. Don't forget that. Okay, some students tend to forget that. So let's do this now. We go to 1 still. And in the numerator we have 1. And on the bottom we have just the square root of x plus 1. So now we can actually plug in, because we no longer have 0 over 0. Because we have 1 on top, which means we don't have 0 over 0 anymore. So we can plug in. So on top we still have that 1. And on the bottom we have the square root of 1 plus 1. Which is, well, the square root of 1 is 1, so it's really 1 plus 1, or 1/2 in the denominator. So that is just one example of how to use the conjugate to find our answer. So let's take a look at a second example. All right, now this one's a little more complex. Notice there's a few more terms in the numerator, but the technique is exactly the same. If I were to plug in 0 here, okay, I'm just going to do this over here on the side. I have the square root of 4 plus 0 minus 2 over 0. Well, the square root of 4 is 2, so it's really 2 minus 2 over 0. So this is our 0 over 0 case. So again, this is a time we have to simplify the fraction in order to find the limit, and we simplify it using the conjugate. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do here. So the conjugate this time is this entire 4 plus x, if I write it correctly, and this time plus 2. Notice the sign under the radical doesn't change, but it's this sign here that gets changed. And again, we repeat that on the bottom. Okay, again, if there's a, when you're doing conjugates, if there's a negative sign here, you would, when you rewrite the binomial, you put a positive sign in between. And that allows us, again, to follow the pattern of difference of perfect squares when we're multiplying. Okay, which is first term times first term. So the square root of 4 plus x times the square root of 4 plus x is, well, 4 plus x. And then negative 2 times positive 2 is negative 4. And in on the bottom, okay, we have x. Nothing changes on the bottom. Okay, don't distribute that x. All right, don't try to do that. So let's take a look at some simplification we can do here. Notice we have 4 and a minus 4, so those cancel out. Okay, now you could do another step of simplification here, but what I'm going to do is go ahead and rewrite it, clean it up a little bit. Notice again, I'm writing the limit in every step before the answer. And we have this. So again, we can cancel this and this. But remember, that leaves us with a 1 in the numerator. Okay, don't forget that. Students tend to forget that, so don't do that when you're trying these problems out. Okay, so now when I clean it up for its final stage, I have that 1 in the numerator. And then it gives me 4 plus x plus 2 in the denominator. Now, because I'm no longer indeterminate, notice I've got a 1 on top, not a 0, I can plug in my 0. And that gives me 1 over the square root of 4 plus 2, which is 1 over 2 plus 2, or 1/4. Okay? Well, let's look at one more example of this. Okay? One more, just a little bit more complexity to it, just mainly because there's an extra radical in the problem. But the technique doesn't change. It's still a question where the only thing you can do to simplify is to use a conjugate. Okay? So again, I'm going to put my conjugate here. 3 plus x plus radical 3. Now, I didn't test this time because I know that this is indeterminate, and that's why I didn't test it. It's something you should do every time, but it just for expediency here, I didn't test this one because I already knew what it was. Okay, so again, we use our conjugate here. This time, again, if this is a minus sign, this has to be a plus sign, and that's typically how these problems go. So now we do our multiplication of the numerator. Okay, we get x goes to 0 still, keeping my limit notation. The only time you should not have the limit notation is when you write the answer. Okay, so this guy times this guy, radical 3 plus x times radical 3 plus x in the numerator gives me 3 plus x. And then negative radical 3 plus positive radical 3 gives me negative 3. And then the bottom again does not change. Do not FOIL the x. Distribute the x through. Okay. Oh, that should be a 3 there. I wrote an x. I apologize. That should be a 3 up top. Okay. So now we simplify again, just like we did before. The 3's go away because they subtract out. And notice these, once the 3's go away, then you can take these x's away, and that leaves you with a 1 in the numerator. Okay? So then we have the limit, as x goes to 0, of 1 over 3 plus x. Okay, when we plug in 0, we get 1 over radical 3 plus radical 3, which gives me 1 over 2 radical 3. You're just adding 2 of them together. So it's 1 radical 3 plus 1 radical 3 equals 2 radical 3. And that is your final answer. All right? Well, hopefully this helps you understand how to simplify an indeterminate limit that has a radical involved by using conjugates. And just if you need to, just watch the video a couple times just to make sure you get everything down. All right, thank you very, very much. Have a great day.